What is the price of a logo? What do you pay for the promise of the ultimate driving machine? You pay for performance. You pay for luxury. But with modern BMWs, what you're often paying for is the ticket to a ticking time bomb. Today, we expose the catastrophic engineering sins hidden behind the blue and white roundel. We're not talking about routine maintenance. We're talking about systemic, documented, and brand-damaging flaws that turn showroom darlings into financial nightmares. We have the internal service bulletins. We have the class action lawsuits. And we have the repair bills that can exceed the value of the car itself. From engines that eat themselves alive to electronics that drown in a rainstorm, this is the story of how cutting corners on a $5 part can cause a $20,000 disaster. Buckle up and let's explore these 5 monstrous disasters. Number 5. BMW 5 Series and 3 Series. F10F, 2011 to 2019. Our countdown begins with a failure so primitive it's almost insulting. It involves no complex engine mechanics or high-tech software glitches. It is a battle between a premium German automobile and a handful of wet leaves, and the leaves almost always win. The vehicles in question are the F10 5 Series, sold from 2011 to 2017, and its smaller sibling, the F33 Series, sold from 2012 to 2019. These two models represent the absolute core of the BMW brand, with combined US sales during their production runs reaching well over 1 million vehicles. Each one of them, however, carries a profound vulnerability to water. At the base of the windshield, hidden beneath a plastic cover known as the Cowl, are drainage channels. Their job is simple: route rainwater safely out of the car. On these F-chassis BMWs, a design oversight made these drains dangerously narrow. Over a few years of normal use, they inevitably clog with pollen, leaves, and road grime. When this happens, the Cowl area transforms into a bathtub, creating a hidden reservoir of standing water. From there, the water has only one place to go. It overflows the firewall and pours directly into the passenger side footwell of the car. This is where a simple plumbing problem becomes a catastrophic electronic disaster. Located directly in the path of this internal waterfall are some of the most critical computer modules in the entire vehicle. The front electronic module, known as the FEM, and the junction box electronics, or JBE. These modules are the vehicle's central nervous system for body control. They manage the locks, the windows, the wipers, the lights, the push-to-start ignition, and serve as a central gateway for communication between dozens of other computers. When water cascades over these modules and their connectors, the result is a complete electronic meltdown. The symptoms, as documented by thousands of owners on forums like Bankrupt, start with bizarre electronic poltergeists. Wipers that activate on their own and refuse to shut off. The horn blaring in the middle of the night. The car refusing to recognize the key fob. Eventually, this culminates in a total failure to start, accompanied by a dashboard lit up with dozens of random, unrelated error codes. Technicians call this the Christmas tree effect, a direct result of water short-circuiting the car's brain. The financial fallout is staggering. An owner on the F30 subreddit posted an invoice from a BMW dealership for a 2016 328i with this exact problem. The bill to replace the water-damaged FEM module, recode it to the vehicle, and dry the interior was over $5,300. The cost is driven by complexity. The FEM module itself can cost upwards of $800. But the real expense is labor and programming. The module stores crucial vehicle data, including the VIN and security information. A new one must be coded by a technician with access to BMW's proprietary ISTA software, a tool many independent shops do not possess. This forces owners into the expensive dealership network. BMW has never issued a recall for this well-documented flaw. Instead, the company has consistently framed it as a maintenance issue, placing the onus on owners to regularly inspect and clean the cowl drains. This position ignores the core engineering sin, designing a drain almost guaranteed to clog and then placing the car's most vital electronics directly in the flood path. It is a stunning display of negligence that can brick a $50,000 sedan with nothing more than a change in the weather. And it's why this drowning disaster opens our list. Now let's dive into number 4. BMW X models, 3 Series, 5 Series, all modern chassis. At number 4, we have a problem that transcends any single model and indicts the entire engineering philosophy of modern BMW. It is a brand-wide systemic vulnerability that saves the company pennies on the dollar during manufacturing, while creating a ticking time bomb for every single person who buys their cars. We are talking about BMW's institutional addiction to using brittle plastic for the most critical components of the engine's cooling system. In any internal combustion engine, the cooling system is a brutal environment. It must contain scalding hot pressurized fluid that cycles from freezing temperatures to over 220 degrees Fahrenheit. For decades, the key components of this system, water pumps, thermostat housings, radiator connections, and expansion tanks, were made of robust cast aluminum or durable composite metals. In the modern BMW engine bay, they are almost universally made from black plastic. The logic is that modern polymers are lightweight and cheap to mass produce. The reality is that under endless heat cycles, these plastic components become as fragile as glass. The failure mode is rarely a gentle warning leak. It is a sudden, violent, and total rupture. A driver can be miles from home, with the engine running perfectly when a plastic hose flange or the neck of the expansion tank finally succumbs to thermal stress and fractures. The entire pressurized contents of the cooling system are dumped onto the pavement in under a minute. The dashboard erupts with a red "engine overheating. Stop immediately" warning. The driver has a window of perhaps 60 to 90 seconds to shut off the engine before the immense heat warps the aluminum cylinder head, causing catastrophic and often irreparable damage. A single $50 plastic part can, in the blink of an eye, cause a $15,000 engine repair. This is not a hypothetical scenario. It is a rite of passage for BMW owners. It is so common that specialty parts retailers like FCP Euro have built entire businesses on selling lifetime replacement kits for these plastic components. They know with certainty that owners will be replacing them. A search for BMW cracked expansion tank or BMW plastic water pump failure yields hundreds of thousands of results, with owners of $70,000 X5 sport utility vehicles reporting these failures at 60,000, 50,000, or even 40,000 miles. While BMW did issue NHTSA Recall 24 V608 in August of 2024 for a specific electric auxiliary water pump that could short and cause a fire, that recall covers only one part in an entire ecosystem of failure-prone plastic. The other components, like the main thermostat housing and the radiator end tanks, are allowed to fail without any official campaign. An owner on the Bimmerfest forums shared his invoice from an independent shop for his 2015 X3. A cracked thermostat housing led to a complete cooling system overhaul. The bill, including a new thermostat, water pump, expansion tank, and all associated plastic hoses, was just shy of $3,400. His comment was a familiar refrain. No warning whatsoever. Just a sudden cloud of steam and a dead engine on the side of the highway. This engineering philosophy represents a profound hidden cost of ownership. It is a plastic plague that ensures a constant revenue stream for BMW's parts and service departments, and it earns a well-deserved spot as the number 4 disaster on our list. Number 3, BMW 328i, 528i, X3, X1, Z4F chassis, 2012 to 2015. At number 3, we have what is arguably the most widespread and financially devastating engine failure in modern BMW history. This is the story of the N63 engine, the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that was the heart of BMW's highest volume models from 2012 to 2015. It powered the 328i, the 528i, the X1, the X3, and the Z4. BMW sold hundreds of thousands of these cars in North America alone, promising a perfect blend of efficiency and performance. What they delivered to many of their customers was a ticking time bomb, set to detonate their finances without warning. The fatal flaw lies deep within the engine's core, in the timing chain assembly. The timing chain is a critical component that synchronizes the engine's crankshaft and camshafts, ensuring the valves open and close in perfect harmony with the pistons. It is engineered to last the lifetime of the vehicle. To maintain tension, this high-speed chain runs along guides. In the N20 engine, BMW chose to manufacture the primary timing chain guide out of a polycarbonate plastic that was wholly unsuitable for its task. Subjected to years of high engine temperatures and constant contact with motor oil, the plastic would degrade, lose its structural integrity, and become incredibly brittle. When the guide fails, it shatters. This initiates one of two catastrophic failure sequences. In some instances, pieces of the broken plastic guide are sucked into the engine's oil pump, clogging it and instantly starving the engine of lubrication. This leads to a total seizure of all moving parts. More commonly, the guide's failure causes the timing chain to lose tension, allowing it to slacken and jump one or more teeth on the camshaft sprockets. The result is immediate and apocalyptic for the engine. Because the N20 is an interference engine, the pistons and valves occupy the same space at different times. When the timing is lost, the pistons, traveling at immense speed, slam into the now out-of-position valves. They bend the valves, shatter the piston heads, and score the cylinder walls, effectively turning the engine's internals into shrapnel. Owners report hearing a distinct, high-pitched whine or a sharp rattle, the sound of the chain dragging against metal, followed by a sudden, complete loss of power. This problem became a full-blown epidemic, so widespread that it resulted in a major class action lawsuit, Davitt versus BMW of North America. The lawsuit alleged that BMW knowingly manufactured and sold engines with defective timing chain assemblies and then systematically denied warranty claims, often blaming the failures on improper owner maintenance. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's complaint database for a 2013 328i is a graveyard of these failures. One owner from California with just 78,000 miles on his vehicle wrote, "Driving on the freeway, the car flashed a drivetrain malfunction error and died. It would not restart. My mechanic confirmed the timing chain guide broke and destroyed the engine. BMW quoted me $23,500 for a replacement engine. This on a car with a market value of less than $15,000. In response to the immense legal pressure, BMW never issued a formal safety recall. Instead, they settled the lawsuit and initiated a limited warranty extension, covering the timing chain assembly for 7 years or 70,000 miles from the vehicle's in-service date. This was cold comfort for the countless owners who were just outside these narrow limits, or for those who had purchased their vehicles used and were unaware of the looming disaster. It was a calculated corporate response that left thousands holding the bag for a known, catastrophic defect. This single, brittle piece of plastic destroyed countless engines, erased billions in resale value, and shattered a generation of customers' faith in the brand, making the N20 engine a textbook disaster and our number 3 entry. Number 2. BMW 750i, 650i, 550i, X5 and X650i models from 2009 to 2016. When a customer walks into a BMW showroom and selects the top-tier V8 model, they are making a statement. They are paying a significant premium, often $20,000 to $30,000 more than the 6-cylinder variant, for the pinnacle of the brand's power and prestige. With our number 2 disaster, these top-tier customers discovered that their extra investment bought them the single most problematic engine in the company's modern history. This is the saga of the N63, a twin-turbo V8 that was supposed to be a masterpiece of engineering, but instead became a masterclass in catastrophic failure. The N63 powered BMW's most expensive and profitable vehicles, the 7 Series flagship sedan, the 6 Series Grand Tourer, the 550i sports sedan, and the powerful V8 versions of the X5 and X6 SUVs. Its design was revolutionary, featuring a hot V architecture that placed the 2 turbochargers and their red-hot exhaust manifolds in the valley between the cylinder banks. This made the engine compact, but it also created an inescapable thermal prison, right in the heart of the motor, cooking every component around it. This intense, trapped heat became the source of a biblical plague of failures. The most notorious and widespread issue was oil consumption on a scale that defied belief. The extreme heat would bake the engine's valve stem seals, small, delicate rubber rings that prevent oil from leaking down the valve guides and into the combustion chambers. As the seals became hard and brittle, oil would pour past them. Owners of $90,000 luxury sedans would be greeted by a massive plume of blue smoke billowing from their exhaust on every cold start. The oil loss was so extreme that BMW issued an internal technical service bulletin, SIB 110313, informing its own technicians that consumption of 1 quart of oil every 750 miles was to be considered normal and not a warrantable defect. This forced owners into the absurd ritual of carrying jugs of expensive synthetic oil in the trunks of their luxury cars, constantly adding more between trips to the gas station. The heat-related carnage was relentless. It fried batteries, destroyed ignition coils, and vaporized plastic coolant pipes. Most critically, it caused the timing chains to stretch under the constant thermal stress, creating the same risk of catastrophic engine destruction seen in the N20. The problems were so severe, so widespread, and so undeniable that in 2014, BMW was forced to take an unprecedented step. To stave off a firestorm of lawsuits, they launched the N63 Customer Care Package. This was not a recall, it was a secret warranty campaign. Dealers were instructed to bring in every affected vehicle they could and perform a laundry list of major repairs free of charge. They replaced timing chains, fuel injectors, mass airflow sensors, batteries, crankcase vent lines, and in some cases, the valve seals. It was, in effect, a preemptive, partial engine rebuild on tens of thousands of vehicles. This campaign was a stunning, implicit admission that the engine was fundamentally broken. Yet, even after this fix, the problems often returned. This led to a second major class action settlement in 2022 for the engine's successor, the N63 TU, which continued to suffer from excessive oil consumption. For owners outside of warranty, the financial consequences were apocalyptic. An out-of-warranty valve stem seal replacement is a full engine-out procedure that can cost between $8,000 and $12,000 at an independent specialist. A timing chain replacement is nearly as expensive. The N63 engine represents a staggering level of engineering hubris. In the chase for an innovative design, BMW created a beautiful, powerful, and deeply flawed engine, placed it in their most expensive cars, sold it to their most loyal customers, and then spent years trying to normalize its catastrophic defects. It is an engine that doesn't just leak or burn oil. It consumes the bank accounts of its owners, earning it the silver medal of shame on our list. Now, let's explore the top failure in BMW's engineering. Number 1. BMW 3 Series, 5 Series, X3, and X5G chassis models from 2018 to date. We have seen drowning computers, shattering plastics, and V8 engines that cook themselves to death. But for our number 1 spot, we have a failure that is somehow even more cynical. It is a defect that affects the very newest generation of BMW's most common engines, the B46, B48 4-cylinders, and the B58 6-cylinder. This isn't a story about a decade-old design flaw. This is a clear and present danger affecting hundreds of thousands of cars on the road right now, including brand new vehicles leaving the showroom floor. This is the story of the fragile coolant ventilation line, a disaster born from a single, inexcusably cheap plastic part. After the N20 timing chain catastrophe, BMW introduced the B-Series modular engine family, touting its improved reliability. These engines quickly became the workhorses of the entire modern lineup, powering the current G23 series, G35 series, G01X3, and many more. Yet, engineers embedded a ticking time bomb directly into the cooling system. A small diameter plastic tube known as the coolant vent line runs from the top of the cylinder head to the coolant expansion tank. Its function is to bleed off any trapped air. The quick disconnect fitting where this critical hose attaches to the engine's cylinder head is made from a plastic so thin and so brittle that it is not a question of if it will fail, but when. Unlike the slow degradation of older plastic components, this failure is instantaneous, violent, and complete. Weakened by thousands of heat and vibration cycles, the plastic neck of the fitting snaps cleanly off. In that instant, the entire pressurized cooling system erupts, a geyser of scalding hot coolant sprays all over the engine bay. The system can lose its entire fluid contents in less than 30 seconds. The driver is given a split-second low coolant warning on the dashboard, immediately followed by the terrifying red engine overheating alert. By the time they can safely navigate to the side of a busy highway, the damage is likely already done. The engine has been catastrophically starved of coolant, and the intense heat has warped the precision-milled aluminum cylinder head. What makes this our #1 disaster is its sheer, unadulterated cynicism. This is not a high-mileage wear-and-tear item. Owners on the G-Chassis Bimmerpost forums are reporting these failures at 40,000 miles, 30,000 miles. There are documented cases of failure at under 20,000 miles. These are practically new cars, many still covered by their original factory warranty. The failure turns a routine commute into a dangerous emergency, stranding drivers and their families and risking a $20,000 engine replacement over a part that costs less than $100. BMW is acutely aware of this defect. The company issued Technical Service Bulletin SIB 170122, which specifically acknowledges the failure of the coolant vent line and provides a part number for a supposedly revised hose. But a TSB is a whisper campaign, not a recall. BMW is not proactively replacing this known defect on the hundreds of thousands of affected vehicles. Instead, they are waiting for it to fail. They are waiting for their customers to be stranded. They will only replace the part under warranty if a customer complains about a leak, and if the car is just 1 mile out of warranty, the owner is facing the 5-figure repair bill on their own. The lesson here is not that you should never buy a BMW. When they are working as intended, they are some of the most dynamic and rewarding cars on the planet. But you must approach ownership with your eyes wide open to the documented risks. Before you buy any modern BMW, you have to do the homework. Run the VIN through recall databases, but more importantly, immerse yourself in the owner forums for that specific model and engine. See what real people are paying to fix day in and day out. And if you do take the plunge, you must budget for the inevitable. Not for if it breaks, but for when. If you found this investigation valuable, subscribe for more brutally honest deep dives into the cars we love and the problems they hide. Let us know in the comments which brand's dirty laundry you want us to air out next. Until then, drive smart, stay informed, and never mistake a premium badge for a guarantee of peace of mind.